Police on the UW-Madison campus says police in riot gear move in and break up the pro-Hamas protest camp. Multiple arrests, including multiple UW-Madison professors, as at least one other professor is encouraging students to go to Library Mall to clash with police. It is a jam-packed day here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. President Trump is in Waukesha. He was on the Jay Weber Show on WISN this morning. I am told the lines are already getting long outside the Waukesha Expo Center. If you're planning to go today, we will have that and more, plus exclusive details about the arrest of a suspect in connection with the hit-and-run death of a 4-year-old girl in a crash that badly injured her mother. He abandoned his car along some train tracks, and then his girlfriend drove him and led police on a high-speed chase as they were attempting to skip town. My sources indicate that the couple was packed and ready to leave when some great police work led to their arrests. Wow, do we have a lot to cover today. But before we get to any of it, the Spring Green Cash Contest word this hour is bills. B-I-L-L-S, bills. You can pay some bills with $1,000 in cash instantly if your entry is picked at random in our Spring Green Cash Contest. You know the drill by now. We've already had 4 nationwide winners on this show. Looking for number 5, just go to our website, enter the keyword bills. If your entry is picked at random, you win that $1,000. If you would like to get in touch with us, if you are on the Madison campus, if you were there as the arrests started, please do give us a call. Shoot us a text on the adventnews.com talk and text line, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me. Sources always fully protected. If you've got video, if you've got pictures, anything. So far, by the way, no arrests. Police do not appear to be moving in on the UWM campus. And what happened at about 8 o'clock this morning follows the clashes with police and arrests on the Columbia College campus in New York, as well as City College. It appears that police all across the country are starting to break up these protest camps. There were violent clashes on UCLA's campus. Shoot me any video or pictures or anything you might have, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. You can follow me on X at Dan O'Donnell Show there, where you can watch the show streaming live via our DanoCam. You can also watch the show Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Please do give us a follow. Share the live feed to get Dan Nation stronger and ever more growing. We are also streaming live on YouTube. Just search for Dan O'Donnell Show, Dan O'Donnell, any combination. O'Donnell Dan. Daniel O'Donnell might take you to an Irish singer, but that's okay because he's a good dude. All right, let's get to Madison. This was the scene at about 8 o'clock this morning as police in riot gear showed up and started brutalizing protesters. No, I'm kidding. That's not actually what happened. At about 7 to 7:30, they showed up and issued repeated warnings. Disperse or you will be arrested. I can't believe it, but UW Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin actually enforced university policy, municipal ordinances, and state law. I thought for sure she was going to cave, but once Columbia, once City College, once all of the other schools started arresting protesters last night, I think the go-ahead was given and police issued a warning. Video posted by Spectrum TV showed the officers' arrival. One reporter tweeted that police gave a 10-minute warning for protesters to pack up and leave around 7 a.m. At about 8 a.m., they gave a final warning. Between 50 and 100 officers showed up at Library Mall. The Journal-Sentinel reporter on the scene says officers played audio from a loudspeaker saying, "This is the final warning. Police have moved their riot shields to cover their faces. Protesters have linked arms around the tent encampment, most wearing masks and goggles, preparing for the possibility of tear gas." UW-Madison police, state State Police, Dane County Sheriff's Office were all on the scene. Then at about 8:10, 10 minutes after that final warning was given, after the protesters refused to move, police moved in. They almost immediately broke through the chains of protesters surrounding that encampment. Police, according to the Journal-Sentinel, are shoving protesters to the ground and hitting people in the heads with their shields. Totally unprovoked, you see. This is just what cops do, according to our mainstream media. Now, if you actually watch some of the video, I will give a tremendous amount of credit to Tyler Katzenberger. He is a reporter with WMTV. He has been posting the video all morning long. Check out his feed. He is at Tyler Katzen, K-A-T-Z-E-N. I have retweeted a number of his videos, a number of his pictures. He's doing excellent work down in the field, just showing the video and letting the video tell the story. Now, as this was going on, there was a professor of musicology, Gabrielle Cornish, in the Mead-Witter School of Music. Her research broadly considers music and everyday life in the Soviet Union. So you can take a wild guess right away, according to her biography, where this professor is coming from. At 6:54 a.m., so right as police were starting to arrive at Library Mall, she tweets out the following. Police are at UW and have warned protesters that they have 15 minutes until they use force. Anyone able to make it to campus, please do. In other words, Abby Cornish, assistant professor of musicology at the Mead-Witter School of Music, was openly encouraging students and anyone else to get to Library Mall to potentially violently resist a legitimate police action. In other words, she was encouraging crimes. She was encouraging her students. She was encouraging anybody who is following her on X to resist arrest and to help others resist arrest violently if possible. My question to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, will there be any disciplinary action? I have retweeted the evidence of Gabby Cornish saying, hey, go there, resist police. In addition, at least 2 University of Wisconsin-Madison professors have been arrested, according to Tyler Katzenberger, again, who's on the scene. He has a picture that I've reposted on X of Samer Alatout, who has been one of the University of Wisconsin-Madison protest leaders. He has been the sort of the point person, along with Dr. Sammy Shulk. Both were detained. I am told that Shulk, who we here on the Dan O'Donnell Show have affectionately nicknamed Dr. Buttcheeks or Professor Buttcheeks, because her current pinned post is a picture of her shaking her bare butt on stage at a Janelle Monáe concert. I really wish I was kidding about this. That is Sammy Shulk. She's twerking and she is not wearing pants. There are 2, shall we say, ample bodies of research being shaken on the stage of this. She is an associate professor in, I don't even need to tell you. You can probably finish this sentence. She is an associate professor in the Department of Gender and Women's Studies. Her research focuses on disability, race, and gender in contemporary American literature and culture, especially African American and women's texts. She was arrested, and video posted by Tyler Katzenberger shows her right in the thick of the resistance to police going in and lawfully dispersing, lawfully making arrests of students illegally camping on the UW-Madison campus. In other words, she has been arrested for organizing this resistance of arrest. In fact, it is my very strong suspicion, taking a look at some of these videos, that she was engaged in a semi-violent resistance of arrest herself. Now, I can report she was wearing pants. She did not appear to be using her most dangerous weapon, the two giant bodies of research on her derriere, in order to intimidate or attack officers, but she was arrested. Samer Alatout, I am told, was not arrested, but rather detained. He can be seen in a photo on my X account posted courtesy of Tyler Katzenberger, with a gash on his forehead, meaning he was taken down. He was cited most likely for disorderly conduct. I am going to have to check online court records later in the day as all of these citations and arrests and criminal charges go in. Now, Professor Alatout is, well, just an associate professor. According to UW-Madison's website, his biography is blank. I can't find where his office location is, and where it says more information about the good professor, it is blank. He is in the Community and Environmental Sociology Department of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Those are three university professors at UW-Madison who are either openly encouraging violent resistance of police, and that's what the video show. This was violent resistance. It is a crime to resist arrest, to refuse to do what an officer tells you to do. That is criminal behavior. And you had one professor openly tweeting, hey, UW-Madison community, get on out there and resist arrest. You had two other professors who have served as sort of the mommy and daddy of the student protest movement on the Madison campus, both either detained or arrested. Both can be seen on video in the thick of the resistance. My question is, will Dr. Sammy Schalk be disciplined in any way? Will Dr. Samer Alatout be disciplined, fired in any way? I think we already know the answer to that question, but here's another one. Will those professors, will those students actually be criminally charged? It's one thing to be cited, it's one thing to be arrested, but it's quite another to actually pay the piper for your criminal activity. Will the district attorney Ismail Ozan, who actually prosecuted a state division of criminal investigation agent by the name of Mark Wagner for a perfectly legitimate police shooting? Wagner was fortunately last month acquitted of all criminal wrongdoing, but Ozan pursued that case for more than a year and a half. After the state rejected criminal charges there, Ismail Ozan wanted to make a statement by prosecuting Agent Mark Wagner. Now we have violent criminality in the form of violent resistance of arrest on camera in his city, on his campus. Will there be anything done about it? We will have much more on this still developing story coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show next.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Spring is in the air and the deals are heating up at Lynch. Get this, Lynch has over 800 new vehicles on the ground ready for immediate delivery. Spring into savings with huge rebates and financing starting as low as 0%. Lynch has new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, Rams, Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords on top of their fantastic new car selection. They have a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles that come with the Lynch protected peace of mind, a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty, and Lynch certification that includes a 168-point inspection, plus a 10-day, 500-mile satisfaction guarantee exchange policy. The Lynch family of dealerships truly has your back, whether you're shopping for a new or used car. Huge spring savings event going on now at all Lynch locations, or check them out 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
Want to give as much money as possible to the government when you die? Didn't think so. Attorney Rob Mielik has helped thousands of clients maximize their financial legacy. Hear more on Your Hometown Lawyer, Saturday at 3 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Remember, fail to plan, plan to fail. MielikLaw@wi.com.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Rich Lawns.
Traffic jams, tailgating, pileups. Ugh, the joys of driving. How could it get worse? The federal government wants to have a say in what you drive. That's right. The Biden administration's EPA is pushing mandates that would ban 2 out of every 3 vehicles on the road today. Don't let Washington become your backseat driver. Protect the freedom of driving your way. Visit EnergyCitizens.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Here's why. Money. Warshevsky.
The sound as police in riot gear in Madison cleared out Camp Hamas on the UW-Madison campus. Yeah, it was about as chaotic as it sounded, and you had a UW-Madison professor by the name of something Cornish. Was it Abby Cornish? It was Gabrielle Cornish. Excuse me. Professor Cornish, I apologize. She is an assistant professor of musicology. The reason that I couldn't remember her name offhand is because after I started talking about her, she locked her Twitter account, making it impossible for most people to see what she posted. Don't worry, I took a screenshot. UW-Madison, if you need the evidence of one of your professors openly encouraging students to go to Library Mall and violently resist lawful arrests made by police, you've got the evidence right there. 2 other professors, Dr. Buttcheeks. She is Dr. Sammy Schalk, great friend of the Dan O'Donnell Show ever since we first discovered her pinned post. And by the way, she has also locked her account. Why is it that these professors keep locking their accounts when someone like me says what it is that they're doing and broadcasts their obviously good, obviously justified, obviously not embarrassing moments for the entire... I mean, look at this. They're brave freedom fighters. Dr. Schalk, shake your groove thing with pride. Let everybody see the, art that you created on stage at that Janelle Monáe concert. You can, by the way, still see it on her Instagram account. Her pinned post is a still photo of that. She was arrested during the protests today. I can report that video evidence does show her right in the face of riot police in riot gear. She's right there. She clearly was engaged in pushing back against these police officers. She is clearly engaging in resisting arrest or stopping a lawful police investigation or police action. In other words, there's video evidence out there of her committing crimes. What is going to happen to her? Dr. Samir Alatout, the other student, or rather university employee leader, the professor leader of these protests, can be seen in a picture posted by WMTV reporter Tyler Katzenberger on the ground being detained by a couple of police officers. He was cited, my guess is, for disorderly conduct or something of the like, one of these catch-alls when they need to detain somebody. He was given a municipal citation. I will know exactly what he was charged with, what he was cited for in the next couple of hours. So this is what's gone down in the last hour and a half. By the way, with President Trump in town today, one wonders whether some of these pro-Hamas people, you're kidding me. We've got a reporter on X, producer Dave tells me, that police have left and the tents are now going back up in Madison. We will continue to follow this throughout the show today. Have no fear. If it's going on, you will hear about it, and hear about it first on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Always remember that. President Trump's national press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is going to be on the show in about 10 minutes or so. President Trump was on the Jay Weber Show on WISN this morning. Of course, we had him on the Dan O'Donnell Show last time he was in Wisconsin at Green Bay. I am going to be going to the rally in Waukesha today. Hope to see you all there. It's going to be interesting to see if some of the pro-Hamas folks are protesting President Trump. It's interesting, though. They don't seem to venture into red areas. They only want to apply pressure on the liberals that they know are going to eventually cave to their demands. UW Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin, though, seems to have grown his spine after seeing Columbia, after seeing City College, after seeing UCLA, after seeing what appears to be a coordinated effort all across the country by law enforcement agencies. One wonders if they were given the go-ahead by the FBI or the Biden administration, because it's just too coincidental that you see all within about a 12-hour stretch, pretty much all of these protest camps come down. And I do regret to have to report, ladies and gentlemen, that today, Wednesday, we will not see the full enriching liberated zone schedule that we saw at the pro-Hamas protest camp on Tuesday. Seriously, it was like domestic terrorist summer camp here. They posted a schedule. The Students for Justice in Palestine at UW-Madison and the Wisconsin Young Democratic Socialists. Now, they didn't start until 10 a.m. because if there's one thing I know about Students for Justice in Palestine and Democratic Socialists, they really don't do anything before 10 a.m. Governor Evers, his day doesn't usually start until about 9:30, 10 a.m. President Biden, too. What is it about left-wingers that makes them so lazy that nothing really happens? So the police show up. Do you know why they showed up at like 7 o'clock? Because for everybody else, that's a pre-dawn raid. That's showing up at 4 a.m. But because they know all of these campus left-wingers are hungover or too strung out to crawl out of their tents before about 11:45, they knew they could have the element of surprise. So 10 a.m., this was the Tuesday Liberated Zone schedule. There was breakfast and art making yesterday. At noon, after a 2-hour breakfast, just kind of chilling, enjoying your morning coffee for 2 hours, there was a teach-in from Palestinian refugees. After a long lunch, 2:30 p.m., another teach-in, how Gaza is liberating people globally and in the U.S. At 5:30 p.m., there was screen printing. At 7:30 p.m., a teach-in on, I wish I was kidding about this, reproductive justice in Gaza. Reproductive justice in Gaza. If somebody has video from that teach-in or audio or anything, I am willing to actually pay money for it. That's how badly I want to hear what reproductive justice in Gaza looks like. Then at 10 o'clock p.m., nightly encampment support. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what those police officers took from us. We could have had another day. We could have had Queer Theory in Palestine, a lecture series starting today. We could have had Trans Pride in Gaza, a teach-in for gender studies in the Palestinian territories. We could have had basket weaving for a free Palestine. Man, what they took from us. Donald Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Attorney Tom Nichols.
We're often called in to represent businesses in times of need, to help when they're being sued, or, further down the road, to assist with the sale of the business. But we also represent many closely held businesses throughout their entire life cycles. In today's legal environment, having access to quality legal talent on an ongoing basis really is a good cost-benefit proposition. Sometimes a simple, smart step that was made years ago can avoid a major stumbling block today. And that's something that an attorney who's worked with many businesses over their entire life cycle can offer. At Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols, high integrity and earned respect have been hallmarks of our firm for quite some time. We've been representing businesses here in Wisconsin for over 175 years. Having good legal counsel on your side gives you a competitive advantage now, and peace of mind when the big stuff comes along.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols. MTFN.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368. One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which AccuNet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at ACCUNET.com.
NBA fans, listen up. You've got to try Pick 6, the newest real money fantasy app from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. All you need to do is download the app, get started with code WISN, and playing the game is simple. Select if a player will have more or less of a stat. For example, will he have more than 1 rebound, more than 10 points, more than 3 assists? All you need to do is pick your favorite players, set your lineup, and then compete for huge cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WISN. New customers can get up to $200 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on Pick 6 from DraftKings with code WISN. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $200 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits, valid for Pick 6 use only, expire after 180 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6 states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this: Who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated, might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job. And that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
It's happening daily. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. Time is short before something big happens, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure 4-week emergency food kits for each member of your family. Each kit contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Save $50 on each 4-week food kit you purchase. Plus, get free shipping on Ready Hour 4-week emergency food kits. You're not ready if it's not Ready Hour foods. At My Patriot Supply, you can also get solar power generators, water filtration units, heirloom seeds, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your unmarked boxes ship the same day. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Choose from countless luxury flooring options at Flawless Flooring's New Berlin or Delafield Idea Gallery. Flawless Flooring's employee-only installers beautify your everyday going forward right after eliminating carpet stains and stink. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD. Scientists have linked depression to neurochemical changes in the brain. Studies show ketamine can permanently reset and restore those balances, relieving depression and related issues. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
Keep you updated. Apparently, the tents have gone back up, at least a number of them, after Madison police left the scene following crackdown on the urban outdoorsman activity at Library Mall on the UW-Madison campus. In Milwaukee, as far as I am aware, the UWM pro-Hamas protest encampment is still standing. I have no idea if the Milwaukee Police Department has plans to break up that illegal activity today, but what I can tell you, at least 2 UW-Madison professors were either detained or arrested this morning after police in riot gear clashed with protesters, and in open defiance of Madison police, some of those tents apparently have gone back up. President Trump is in Wisconsin today. He's going to be at the Waukesha Expo Center, and joining us now is his National Press Secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Caroline, welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much for having me. And I can tell you President Trump is so excited to be on his way to Wisconsin for an event this afternoon. He'll be heading to Michigan after that, and he is especially excited as he's been cooped up in that criminal courtroom in Manhattan thanks to Joe Biden and the Democrats. So Wisconsin is going to get Donald Trump at his best in a few hours from now, that's for sure.
The biggest story going on right now, as I said, is the Madison Police Department, along with a number of other law enforcement agencies, breaking up the pro-Hamas protest camp on the UW-Madison campus. And this follows similar moves by law enforcement in New York and elsewhere across the country. One person who has been suspiciously silent as all of this has gone on, about all of it, since these protest camps started days ago, a week ago, is President Biden. What does that say to you, Caroline, about his leadership, that he's been totally silent about the protest camps?
Well, there is no leadership at all from Joe Biden's White House. In fact, he has allowed this to fester and to escalate for several weeks now. He has had more than enough opportunity to be a real leader and to say enough is enough. We are not going to allow hate speech on our college campuses. We are not going to allow violent Hamas sympathizers and pro-terrorist students, many of whom are not even citizens of the United States of America, to stomp on the American flag and beat up Jewish Americans. But you don't hear that from Joe Biden. He has been silent, and it is because he realizes this is a political nightmare for him. He's trying to play both sides, and you can't. You have to do what's right. You need to stand for law and order, have some courage, and we're not seeing that from Joe Biden. This is the chaos that his administration has created. Let's not forget that the war happening in Gaza and in Israel right now would have never happened if Joe Biden just kept Donald Trump's strong peace through strength foreign policy, but he reversed all of President Trump's very effective foreign policy decisions, and the world does not respect Joe Biden, and that's why we're in this war overseas, and that's why this chaos is ensuing on our country here at home.
That chaos, I think, is a big reason that President Trump isn't just leading rather consistently in publicly available polls nationally, but also in swing states here in Wisconsin, in Michigan, as well as Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada. President Trump has had a consistent lead. Now, granted, this is 6 months out from the election, but President Trump at no point had any sort of lead in the run-up to the 2020 election. Now, feel free to tell me, Caroline, to go jump in a lake, but are the internal polls that the campaign is putting out and seeing reflective of that similar lead?
Yes, absolutely. Our internal data reflects what you're seeing in the public polls, which is that President Trump has never been in a stronger position to win. And remarkably, he is actually increasing his support with Americans from all backgrounds, despite everything that the Democrats have thrown at him, including these witch hunts that we see going on, taking place in our justice system right now, unconstitutional gag orders in an attempt to silence President Trump and violate his First Amendment right. He continues to grow stronger because he continues to speak truth to the American people, and the Americans remember just how much better their lives were under President Trump's leadership. Our economy was booming. Unemployment, interest rates, mortgage rates were all a record low. There was peace around this world. Our border was secure. We were not having an invasion of millions of illegal people as we are in Joe Biden's America today. And so Americans realize this is a binary choice now on November the 5th, and we cannot afford 4 more years of Joe Biden's presidency. All Americans, regardless of what skin color you are or what God you pray to or what state you are from, realize this because Joe Biden's terrible policies are having an impact on all of us.
She is Caroline Leavitt. She is Donald Trump's national press secretary, joining us here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. And Caroline, President Trump over the past couple of days, including on WISN's own Jay Weber show, has stepped up attacks on Bobby Kennedy Jr., the independent candidate. And it's long been sort of presumed that Kennedy was going to help Trump. Democrats are terrified of his presence in this race. They actually put out a task force, I guess, to try to dig up dirt on Bobby Jr. But President Trump attacking him, and as sharp a criticisms and attacks as he's leveled over the past couple of days, suggests to me that he might be taking away votes from Trump. Is that accurate to surmise?
It is not accurate to surmise. Look, RFK Jr., sure, he'll take away votes from both candidates, but he poses a much greater threat to Joe Biden, and all of the polls prove that. President Trump is rightfully attacking RFK Jr. because RFK is presenting himself as a moderate. He is trying to present himself as this common sense person in the middle when that just couldn't be farther from the truth, and no one calls it out like President Trump. He's gonna speak the truth about anyone, and that includes RFK Jr. And the truth is, he is a radical leftist. RFK Jr.'s environmental policies are actually more radical than Joe Biden's. He wants to have a national federal smart grid in this country that's controlled by the federal government. the American consumer how long we can keep our lights on in our home or how long we can take a shower for. I mean, literally, he wants to implement a smart grid that could shut off the water in private residences and businesses in this country. He called the NRA a terrorist organization. I mean, this guy is a wacky leftist, and Americans deserve to know that, and that's why President Trump has called him out.
Okay, but in the Republican primary, he was attacking Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, his chief rivals. In 2016, he was attacking Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, his chief rivals. Of course, he was training his fire in the general election on his opponents. But we've got 8+ years of President Trump's tactics being very well known. He attacks and he goes after the candidates, his opposition, who he thinks are the biggest threat to him, right?
Well, we also know very well that President Trump attacks anyone and everyone who he feels deserves it. And we've seen that not just of his political opponents, but also, those in the media who are not speaking truth to the American people and are lying. We've seen him, rightfully call out politicians on the Democrat side who he's not even running against because he likes to speak truth. And he likes to call it like he sees it. And he's been seeing RFK Jr. out there, again, presenting himself as this moderate middleman when that couldn't be further from the truth.
Okay, I guess that is fair. I mean, one of his biggest targets was, in fact, Jim Acosta during his presidency. Exactly. So I guess that is a good point. Caroline, everyone, I think, here in Wisconsin knows how important Wisconsin is. In 2016, it was the state that put Trump over the edge and clinched the presidency. And you could make a very compelling argument that Wisconsin, which Biden won by just 20,000 or so votes in 2020, was a big reason why Trump lost. What is the Trump campaign's strategy for Wisconsin, including on what I believe to be one of the biggest issues for Republicans and conservatives here, election integrity?
Well, Wisconsin is vitally important to our electoral chances this November, and we plan on winning it. We are confident that President Trump will, and our goal is to get President Trump's message to every voter in Wisconsin, whether it's in your inner cities of Milwaukee and Madison or in rural Wisconsin, where we know President Trump polls very strongly already. The goal is to get those people out to vote and to also change the hearts and minds of those who may not have voted for President Trump in 2020, but now realize again that we cannot afford 4 more years of Joe Biden's disastrous policies. There's never been a greater contrast than the one that's on the ballot on November the 5th. And our team on the ground in Wisconsin will be getting out the vote. We'll be knocking doors, making phone calls, creating coalitions of supporters to do outreach in communities across your state to ensure that we are getting every single last voter out to the polls on November the 5th. And we also have a strong effort now in conjunction with the RNC, who we're working hand in hand with on election integrity, to train poll watchers and workers in Wisconsin to ensure that election integrity efforts are continuing in your state and that every person in Wisconsin who votes feels as though their vote is going to be counted and cast and matter. And that's very important as well.
Caroline Leavitt, National Press Secretary for the Trump 2024 campaign. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
Absolutely. Don't be a stranger, Caroline. I'm sure we will be talking throughout this campaign. When we come back, we name the unhinged liberal of the day here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's floor sample sale and clearance ends Saturday. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops now more than ever. It's the time to support Built Right, a locally and family-owned business for 4 generations and 96 years strong. Built Right has the best selection and team in town, and they are celebrating 18 years in their Greenfield location. Built Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. services. Special and custom orders are faster in 2024. You'll get the lowest prices on popular brands like Smith Brothers, Elran, Temple, Heirloom, Restonic, and Therapeutic. Built Right always saves you money. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Dan O'Donnell sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Don't miss the grand opening of By the Yard's new showroom in Oconomowoc on Saturday, May 11. Check out By the Yard's maintenance-free outdoor furniture. Enjoy grand opening specials, food and refreshments, and free local delivery. Visit bytheyard.net for details.
This is Mike and Jim from Brillo Home Improvements. What's the matter, Mike? You're off today. Is something wrong? Doggone it. I was trying not to show it, but you know what? There is something that's bothering me. What's going on? Jim, you want to know what really grinds my gears? What? Shoddy workmanship. And you know when you're a remodeler, you're going to see it. Well, yeah, because we're the ones tearing down the job to give it a whole new look. Yeah, and that means we see some good, but a lot of bad. And it's those guys that give guys like us a bad name. But that's not us. At Brillo, you'll find pride of workmanship, and it glares each time we walk off the side of another job well done. You can trust Brillo. Yeah, we won't let you down. Berneri, award-winning home remodeling, and about as down-to-earth of an approach as you're going to find. Call Brillo. Because at the end of the day, what counts most is that your job is done right.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management, joined as I am every week by the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, Dave, earnings season is actually off to a pretty good start, even as it looks as though the Federal Reserve is almost certainly not going to cut interest rates in June.
Those really go together, Dan. Good point. So half of the companies have reported, and 78% of those have beat their estimates so far. So as you said, off to a good start. S&P, of course, up 7% year to date and 25% year over year. So they are certainly taking this in stride. The fact that interest rates are going to stay higher for longer, as you clearly pointed out, more than a year ago. And why is that? Because so many reasons, but the federal government continues to run these huge deficits, now 7% of GDP. And of course, 2/3 of that, Dan, as you well know, are tied to inflation, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the like. All of that means as those payments go up, that puts more pressure on the federal budget. And then lastly, of course, deglobalization. That story continues to go on. So all of this together means that rates are going to be higher for longer. Probably won't see that rate cut in June, probably pushing it off to September, right in front of the election.
But this raises a very important question, as the Federal Reserve always tries to stay politically neutral. This would almost certainly give a big boost to the incumbent President Biden. Will that be something that the Fed takes into account, or will it be claimed that it is simply forced to act? Suffice it to say, you need to stay tuned, and you need to know what you own and why you own it by heading to annexwealth.com for a free review of your portfolio. It's known as a wealth metric, and it's available only at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
The next generation is here. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Anything for you.
I don't know about you folks. I'm in a good mood today. It's May. It just, I don't know. The transition from April to May just feels like, okay, April 30th. I know it was sunny and warm yesterday, but the sun is shining. The birds are chirping. Campus pro-Hamas radicals are getting arrested. UW-Madison professors are getting taken into custody. It's great. It's fantastic. President Trump is in town. By the way, great friend of the show and one of the very best journalists in the state of Wisconsin, Jessica McBride of WisconsinRightNow.com, sends me pictures from the UWM protest camp. This is way too funny and way too on brand. The left-wing radicals have built a wall around their protest camp. Time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberals of the day are not just the UW-Madison professor, as Dr. Sammy Schalk, lovingly referred to as Professor Buttcheeks here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, not just Dr. Samer Alatout, UW-Madison professor and casual anti-Semite, not just Professor Gabby, I still can't remember her name, the musicology prof, who immediately locked her Twitter account after we called her out and reported on the fact that she was openly encouraging students to go to campus and to resist police officers. Gabrielle Cornish, Professor Gabby Cornish. Not just those professors, not just the UW-Madison nuts, not just the UWM nuts, not just the campus radicals who have set up protest camps, but pretty much everyone who believes the narrative that Israel is committing genocide. In a little noticed interview on Morning Joe on Friday, the State Department spokesman, or at least he got a new title. He's basically the more competent Karine Jean-Pierre. Admiral John Kirby was on Morning Joe with Willie Geist, and Geist asked him flat out, is Israel committing genocide?
We've seen these protests on the campuses, some of them getting out of control. It has become gospel among some of those protesters, the pro-Palestinian protesters, that Israel is committing genocide and that the Biden administration is supporting a genocide in Gaza. Do you see any evidence of Israel committing genocide in Gaza?
Absolutely not. No, there's no evidence. The Israeli soldiers are not getting out of the rack, putting their boots on in the day and saying, hey, I'm going to go commit genocide. I'm going to go wantonly murder innocent Palestinians.
So today's unhinged liberals of the day are every single one of you liberals who believe that Israel is committing genocide. How much more evidence do you need? April 9th, Senate hearing. Senator Tom Cotton to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
Secretary Austin, thank you for acknowledging in response to Senator Wicker that Hamas committed war crimes on October 7th and has been committing them every day since by using human shields. I want to address what the protesters raised earlier. Is Israel committing genocide in Gaza?
Senator Cotton, we don't have any evidence of genocide being created.
So that's a no. Israel's not committing genocide in Gaza.
We don't have evidence of that, to my knowledge.
Again, today's unhinged liberals of the day, every single one of you who believes that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Coming up next hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, we have exclusive details that you are not going to hear anywhere else. I guess that's sort of an oxymoron. That's exactly what exclusive details are. They are so exclusive, I've got to say it in two different ways. About the hit-and-run crash that killed a 4-year-old girl. Not just one of the dumbest criminals alive, but also some great police work by Milwaukee police officers that deserves to be praised. It is an exclusive story you'll only hear on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Yes, we do specialize in oxymorons here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's what we do. We're right back after the news.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Governor Tony Evers issues a warning to camped out protesters at UW-Madison and UW-Milwaukee. While in Milwaukee yesterday for his annual pothole patrol tour, the governor says he hopes the protesters will leave on their own, but he says he's concerned with other protests of the war in Gaza across the country.
Well, at some point in time, the encampments have to end, and so whether that's done voluntarily or not, but yes, it's an issue, and we will eventually take action if we have to.
The encampments violate UW policy. The protesters say they won't leave until all their demands are met. Evers says he believes the universities can end the protests through peaceful negotiations. Donald Trump is coming to Wisconsin today. The former president joined WISN's Jay Weber this morning and put the blame for the nationwide Gaza war protest at college campuses squarely at the feet of President Joe Biden.
Every move that Biden makes in the Middle East, when you talk just foreign policy, Russia should have never happened with Ukraine. October 7th would have never happened.
Trump will be at the Waukesha County Expo Center this afternoon for a rally starting at 2. The Federal Reserve is set to announce a decision on whether to adjust the interest rate. New government data shows the economy has slowed down in conjunction with a months-long stretch of stubborn inflation that puts pressure on the Fed to keep interest rates high. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Bucks head to Indianapolis tomorrow night for Game 6 of their NBA playoff series after staying alive with a win over the Pacers last night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Sunny, windy, and warmer today with a high of 72. More clouds tonight with isolated showers. Then on and off rain expected throughout Thursday. Cooler, low to mid 60s expected. Back to 70 with sun on Friday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Unbeep Your Life Show.
Hey guys, it's your favorite psychotherapist, Anita Astley. Join me every Sunday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. and let me help you unbleep your life and relationships. An hour dedicated to helping you untangle some of those relationship knots on News Talk 1130 WISN. Don't miss out, friends.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Where no job's too small. Serving everywhere, quality counts.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Do you love your landscaping? Do you appreciate the perfect blend of plants, stone, and wood that embraces your home? Do you delight in sitting on your patio with a cool drink, taking in the beauty of your backyard? If you answer yes, then we have a lot in common. Now, one more question. Does all of this beauty disappear when the sun goes down? Since 1994, the experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services have been creating beautiful landscaping that can and should be enjoyed even after dark. If the beauty and pleasure of your landscaping disappears when the sun goes down, you should consider a fully automatic landscape lighting system. The experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services are gifted at creating deliciously soft, subtle nighttime scenes. To schedule a meeting with one of our lighting designers, please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Hey guys, don't be that dad without life insurance. When thanks to Ethos, you can be that great dad with life insurance to help keep his family living exactly like they do now, secure and protected in the event of the unexpected. With a fast and easy online experience, some policies as low as $1 a day and up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Ethos makes getting life insurance protection hassle-free. E for easy, E for Ethos at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
It's brand new, Season 2. I'm Marissa Thalberg.
And I'm Stephen Wolf-Fededa, and we're excited to be back having bigger, bolder, and always real conversations.
Straight from the C-suite front lines of marketing, media, and more.
We have great friends joining from people you may know, like Wilmer Valderrama and Bobby Burke.
And people you'll want to know. So grab a coffee or, hey, even an Aperol Spritz and come join us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Open your free iHeart app today and search brand new.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, news, talk, and sports radio. Podcasts too. Download the app. Free never sounded so good.
President Donald Trump is going to be at the Waukesha Expo Center at 2 o'clock. I'll be hanging out too. Hope to meet a lot of you. If you see me just kind of walking around, hanging out, putting out the vibe. Okay, maybe not that last one. Stop on by. Talk, chat, take a picture. Let's have some fun. I want to meet a lot of you folks out there today. Yes, Dave. Is that the shirt I'm wearing that you can see on the Dano cam? No, probably not. Why? You don't like the pink shirt? I'm a little overdressed. I wore a suit the last time. Okay, when I go to these things, I'm never sure who I'm going to meet. President of the United States, senators, congressmen, esteemed guests, titans of industry. I don't know, little old ladies who love this show. That is far more like it. But I feel like I should be a little dressed up. So I'm going to wear a nice shirt and slacks. But all of a sudden, if they take me back to the room and I'm introduced to the President of the United States and taking a picture and that sort, you want to be dressed for the occasion. I don't want to wear, like, a Megadeth t-shirt and ripped jeans when you meet the President of the United States, Dave. Also, Nick in Mequon, thank you for setting me straight. I misused the word oxymoron. I am, in fact, an oxymoron. Oxymoron is a contradiction in terms like civil war, peaceful left-wing protest. What I was saying was a redundancy because we have an exclusive story, exclusive details. We were the first to break the arrest of the suspect in connection with the 4-year-old's death yesterday in a hit-and-run crash, and we do have exclusive details. I was saying exclusive details that no one else has, and Nick in Mequon, who is on the ball, much more so than I am this morning, apparently said that's a redundancy, Dan, not an oxymoron. Fortunately, he refrained from calling me an oxymoron. We do appreciate it. Nick, thank you so much for listening. If you would like to get in touch with the Dan O'Donnell Show, correct my grammar, rip on my pink shirt. I happen to think I look good in pink. I look pretty in pink. 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. Reach me toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live on our YouTube channel as well. YouTube, just search for Dan O'Donnell, or on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Nice, very nice message from a member of Dan Nation watching on YouTube. Carrie says, "Hey Dan, I just wanted to say thank you for all of your hard work these past few months filling in for Mark Belling. You have filled his shoes very well and continue to excel at your own show." Carrie, thank you so much. Yeah, Mark Belling is back on WISN 3 o'clock this afternoon hosting his show. I was filling in for Mark pretty much for the last 4 months straight. Mark would take a week here or there and come back just to reconnect with the audience. He is back full-time, well, semi-full-time. We call it Mark time, Belling time, Monday through Thursday, each and every weekday. And by the way, his Kentucky Derby picks will be up midday tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be talking about the Derby this weekend. No, for those asking, I'm not going again. That was sort of a one-time thing last year because my brother was living in Louisville at the time. He's since moved to Austin, Texas. You know what? I totally forgot to text him if he's anywhere near the campus protests down there at UT Austin. I should probably do that during a commercial break. But yeah, he was down there. I took the family, my brothers and their wives or girlfriends down there. We had a wonderful time. No, this year I guess, going to be watching duty calls. I am going to be coaching all weekend. All right, Spring Green Cash Contest. Word this hour is fun. F-U-N. Fun. You got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword fun. You'll have some fun with $1,000 in your bank account instantly, courtesy of iHeartMedia. Exclusive details surrounding the arrest of the suspect in connection with the hit-and-run crash that killed a 4-year-old girl and injured her mother near Teutonia and Vera in Milwaukee on the city's north side late yesterday morning. Milwaukee police found the suspect's vehicle that had been abandoned on the side of a train track near 60th and Calumet a short time after the suspect took off from that crash. What happened was the 4-year-old and her mother were struck, badly injured. The 4-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. The mother has suffered broken bones, just an unimaginable, unspeakable tragedy, and the driver just took off after striking them. His car, which you can see on my X account, and you know what, I'm going to post this. I'm going to pin it to my profile so it's easy to see. You can also find it on my Facebook account. I obtained the first photos of the suspect's vehicle, which you can see has extensive damage to the front right side after striking the victims. He took off, and then later on in the day, he abandoned his vehicle. He met up with his girlfriend. He's 30 years old. His girlfriend is a 21-year-old, and she drives him and another person around. They apparently had packed, so they're fully ready to skip town. He realizes how big a trouble he's in, and he takes off. Officers observed their vehicle in the 5800 block of North 83rd Street with 2 occupants, not 3. Officers attempted, this according to the Milwaukee Police Department, officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop of the vehicle. The vehicle fled. During the pursuit, the vehicle crashed in a parking lot in the 7200 block of West North Avenue in Wauwatosa. Following the crash, the 21-year-old female driver, that's the girlfriend, complied with officers and was subsequently taken into custody. The 30-year-old male passenger / suspect fled on foot and was subsequently taken into custody. Both subjects were taken to local hospitals for medical clearance. This investigation is ongoing, and Milwaukee police continue to seek other known suspects. In other words, the driver of the car at the time the little girl was killed was not alone in the vehicle. So that's where I was a little confused. I thought the other suspect who was in the car at the time was in the girlfriend's car that took off. Law enforcement sources, I should say, do tell me that they were packed for a move. They were getting ready to get out. They were taking off. Sources also indicate that in the suspect's vehicle that was found abandoned next to the train tracks, the suspect left a number of identifying documents in the car, including bank statements with his name on them, child support records with his name on them, and even paternity test papers with his name on them. Now, just in case you think that the vehicle was stolen, officers do believe that the owner of the vehicle, whose name is registered to that vehicle, and whose name appears on all of these documents, is the suspect they're looking for. In other words, this wasn't somebody who had his car stolen and then it was taken for a joyride and then abandoned by the tracks. That the owner of the vehicle is, in fact, the suspect. Now, law enforcement sources are being relatively tight-lipped about the identity of this suspect, and given the extremely sensitive nature of this crime, I am going to follow, because I have a pretty good idea right now who this suspect is. That, of course, isn't a good enough standard to go on the air. I'm almost certain I know who the suspect is based on the records of the vehicle and other law enforcement sources, but I'm going to wait because of the sensitive nature also of this case. A little girl is dead. I'm going to wait and follow law enforcement's lead on this. But there you have it, exclusive details about this. This started with that crash at about 11:30 yesterday morning. Now, yesterday afternoon, this crime was apparently so heinous that Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson had his, and this is sort of a rite of spring, right? The calendar flips to May, Belling comes back, he does his show. You've got the Summer of Love because it's a presidential election year. The left-wing rent-a-mob riot started a little bit early this year. Last year it was right after Memorial Day weekend to coincide with summer. This time you've got the left-wing agitation starting about a month early, but it's a sign that, the robins are out, the weather is getting warmer, and Mayor Johnson pops up to hold a press conference in which he's really, really mad about all of the crime taking place in his city. He even went so far as to do something I've never heard this mayor do before. Swear.
When I got the information this afternoon, my jaw dropped to the floor, and I said, that is just straight bullshit. That is straight garbage. It pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end that a mom is hurt and that a child is gone from this world because somebody decided to go down the street at whatever speed. Regardless of what speed it was, you hit human beings. You hurt people. And then you just left. Now, if this wasn't a rite of spring, I would say, okay, good for Cavalier, good for the mayor. He's standing up, he's expressing his outrage. Here is the exact same tone
exact same tenor from the exact same mayor almost a year ago, June 19th, following a mass shooting at the Juneteenth celebration in Milwaukee. I want you to listen carefully. He sounds the exact same. He's angry. He's not going to stand for this sort of thing anymore.
It is stupidity. Arguments should not lead to guns being fired off. Period. You know, it used to be a time where if folks had an argument, you just walk away. Or you conclude the argument and leave it at that. Or maybe worse, you get into a fist fight. You don't pull out a gun and try to end somebody's life over something as simple and as meaningless as a petty disagreement, as an argument. We see enough of that, too much of that, and it needs to stop.
In fact, this is a tradition for, it seems, pretty much all Milwaukee mayors, because Johnson's immediate predecessor, Tom Barrett, made a habit of this. Every time there was a crime that was particularly heinous, often involving a child victim, he would come out of his cave and he would comment on it. He would say, we need to change. This is unacceptable. For example, August 2017, the murder of Zalea Jenkins, an 11-year-old girl.
First and foremost, we have to deal with the issue at hand. And the issue at hand is that there were individuals who decided that they were going to resolve their dispute by using guns. And as a result of that, again, this young girl is in critical condition. There are people who know who was involved in this shooting. We ask you to contact the police. We have to get the individuals who are involved in this shooting off the streets.
But those individuals, of course, were on the streets even after there was plenty of opportunity to take them off. In other words, it's recidivism. That is the problem over and over and over again. It's the same people committing crimes over and over and over again. In fact, I can tell you that the hit and run suspect in this case does not have a clean record. No, I know. I am as shocked as you are. If Cavalier Johnson really wants to do something, if he really wants things to change, if he really wants to be more than just the empty suit that in about 2 years he's pretty much proven himself to be, especially on the issue of crime, he can actually use his bully pulpit to put pressure to name and shame court commissioners that give low bail or let dangerous people out on signature bond, prosecutors who accept ridiculous plea deals in which people who are incredibly dangerous to their fellow man are getting let out with a slap on the wrist, if even that. Judges who accept these plea deals, who don't sentence dangerous people to prison. These are the people most responsible for keeping our streets in Milwaukee dangerous, for keeping people like this poor little 4-year-old girl in constant danger of being the victim of out-of-control criminality. Of course, Cavalier Johnson will never do that. He voted repeatedly to defund the police and then, of course, ran for mayor. So, well, I want more police on the streets. We're still not at a police staffing level that is sufficient to police the streets of Milwaukee. And that's, believe it or not, the least of our problems here in this city. Just as in pretty much every city controlled by Democrats, it's the fact that dangerous people who prove time and again that they are not worthy of being out, that they need to be in prison, they need to be locked up for the increasingly serious crimes they commit, are instead set free, put right back into the general population of innocent, law-abiding civilians like this little 4-year-old girl and her mommy who just wanted to get home or get to preschool without running into one of these people who should have been behind bars. I am, frankly, tired of mayors like Cavalier Johnson, tired of the anti-violence crowd, tired of all of these people having these stand up on the soapbox moments and talk about how angry they are and maybe even drop the S word just for emphasis to show, oh, I care. If you cared, you would do something about this. You would immediately commit much more money to police staffing. You would immediately put pressure on the district attorney's office, on the judiciary, on the court commissioners who are letting these dangerous thugs out, and you would actually see change. When dangerous people are locked up, by definition, the crime rate goes down. The biggest problem with criminality in America, not just Milwaukee, not just Madison, is recidivism. It's not this wide swath of the American population who's committing all the crimes. It is a tiny percentage who commit crimes over and over and over again. And then following the death of George Floyd, or as he's known on this show, St. George the Pious, the martyr for social justice, we decriminalized crime. It wasn't just defunding the police. The systemic issue went far deeper than that. Cities and states, all controlled by Democrats, all governed by liberals, decided that no longer it was racist to lock up criminals, because if a certain percentage of said criminal population or inmate population was black or Hispanic or non-white, that would be evidence that the justice system itself is racist. Do you know what's really racist? Saying you care about black lives, but putting dangerous people in very close proximity to innocent black lives who are bearing the brunt of the disaster that is liberal-run cities. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth, the sort of truth the rest of the media won't report or actively buries. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass. Now, with 6 locations to serve you, you hear me talk about how great Mander is, their work ethic, their customer service. Here's customer Hank. Took my Corvette in for a new windshield with camera in the glass. Their tech knew everything and did a great job. Everyone there was friendly and helpful. I loved the modern and very neat waiting area. Thank you, guys. Finally, even the bathroom was very clean. This is a very professional, family-run business. When I need any more work done, I'm coming here. Peter, you're the best. He even brought this old man an armchair so I could sit and work on my laptop. The receptionist was very quick to say hello and knew everything about my job. Thank you. No, thank you, Hank, for reminding me and everyone about the Mander difference. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com. That's mandercollision.com.
Sick of all the homeowner headaches? Tired of being a landlord? Did you inherit a property? Go to MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB. It will make you a fair as-is cash offer within 24 hours. No fees, just cash. MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at LifeLock.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD.
It's brand new, Season 2. I'm Marissa Thalberg.
And I'm Stephen Wolf Pereira, and we're excited to be back having bigger, bolder, and always real conversations.
Straight from the C-suite front lines of marketing, media, and more.
We have great friends joining from people you may know, like Vilmer Valderrama and Bobby Burke.
And people you'll want to know. So grab a coffee or, hey, even an Aperol Spritz and come join us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Open your free iHeart app today and search brand new.
The scene earlier this morning on the UW UW-Madison campus, I should say, as Madison Police, UW-Madison Police, state police, sheriff's officers, and other law enforcement agents moved in to break up the protest camp. We now have a statement from the UW-Madison Police Department as a result of those protests, which led to at least 8 arrests, including several who resisted arrests. An encampment of protesters on Library Mall was dispersed after 7 a.m. Wednesday by officers from UW-PD, assisted by state and local law enforcement. At least 12 people were arrested, including several who resisted arrest. It is not yet clear how many are affiliated with UW-Madison. UW-PD was assisted by the Madison Police Department, the Dane County Sheriff's Office, and the Wisconsin State Patrol. Multiple tents were taken down and disassembled to remove the encampment. Campus continues to operate normally on Wednesday, and there is no threat to safety. UW-PD remains on scene to ensure any continuing protests remain safe and lawful. UW-Madison values free expression and has consistently supported those who exercise their rights within the boundaries of law and campus policies. Tents and camping are not allowed on any university property under Chapter 18 of the Wisconsin Administrative Code, which defines the types of activities permitted on campus, information which was shared to all members of the campus community on Friday. Around 9 a.m. Monday, a group of 100 to 200 people arrived for an announced demonstration. The group began erecting tents beginning around 9:30 a.m. and spent the next 2 days on Library Mall. Over the course of several hours Monday and Tuesday, campus leaders engaged with those protesting on Library Mall, asking them to remove the illegal tents, distributed printed warnings, and ultimately offering to meet with protest organizers once the tents were removed from campus grounds. Shortly before 7 a.m. Wednesday, a team of UW-PD officers arrived at Library Mall and began a series of warnings asking individuals to remove tents and camping materials from the grounds. After 15 minutes of constant warnings, officers issued one final warning that officers would begin removing tents and camping equipment, and arrests would happen if protesters confronted officers or tried to interfere. While several people left, many did not and circled a small group of tents. At around 7:15 a.m., UW-PD teams, along with other local law enforcement partners, moved in and started removing tents and camping equipment. UW-PD teams eventually engaged with protesters to remove the remaining tents that they were encircling. Protesters pushed toward officers, at times becoming confrontational, resulting in several arrests. Now, at least 2 UW-Madison professors were among those who were arrested or cited. Tyler Katzenberger, a reporter on scene from WMTV in Madison, reported that Dr. Sammy Shulk, forever here lovingly known as Professor Buttcheeks after she shook her bare bottom on stage at a Janelle Monáe concert, and was so proud of this fact that she has it as her pinned post on X, which unfortunately she's now made private, as well as Dr. Samer Alatout. Now, Alatout, after he was detained and cited for what I would presume to be disorderly conduct or something very close to that, he returned to campus and is accusing UW-Madison police officers of, yes, racial profiling. He said they were specifically targeting people of color at this protest, which is, of course, completely contradicted by video evidence, again provided by Katzenberger and other reporters on the scene. Police were not targeting people. He said they pointed to him and said, "We want him." Do you know why? Because Alatout has been very proud of the fact that he is one of the leaders leaders of this. Him, along with another UW professor, Asifa Qureshi Landis, Professor Buttcheeks, and several others have been the ringleaders of this, so of course it would make sense. Or, in the alternative, those officers saw Dr. Alatout doing something that, violated the law and would be worthy of an arrest. They took him down to the ground. Pictures posted of his detention show him with his hands behind his back, being cuffed with some sort of scrape or something on his forehead. Police officers don't just sort of take you down, especially at events like this where they are specifically instructed, look, if you use any sort of force, these people are going to squeal like the scared little girls that they are. And they're going to make a scene, and they're going to try to be martyrs for the cause. They're going to try to say that you're engaging in police brutality. What do you know? That's exactly what Dr. Alatout did, accusing them of racism and excessive force and the like. So he was clearly doing something that resulted in him getting taken down. My guess is he was right in the face and being physical with a police officer. I don't have video evidence of that, but they don't just kind of say, here's a guy who is standing there. Let's tackle him to the ground in front of a whole ton of students videotaping the thing, deliberately trying to make us look bad. Seeing as Professor Buttcheeks was right there resisting officers as they moved in to arrest students and tear down the encampment, my guess is that Alatout was doing something similar. Folks, it has been such a jam-packed day today. We are going to have to move America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist, to tomorrow. I do apologize. We've just got so much to talk about today. President Trump's in town. The breaking news all day, of course, the ongoing situation at UW-Madison. We will turn our attention to the encampment at UWM. Next, you're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend Accunet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which Accunet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Good news, bad news. The good news, inflation today is nothing like it's been in the past few years. The bad news, lower inflation doesn't mean lower prices. In fact, one recent study says investors still consider inflation their single biggest threat. If you're concerned how inflation might affect your legacy, your financial freedom, or your confidence, meet with the team at Annex Wealth Management. We're fee-only fiduciaries. We'll build a plan together and guide you on the steps to take to reach the retirement you desire. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
Infinity's app shows precise costs of your new roof, providing peace of mind.
Infinity costs less, and the price we quote is surprise-free.
Because we pay less, you pay less. Warranted, guaranteed quality.
Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
It is Milwaukee's oldest home, and I'm proud to say that the owner chose us to replace its windows. It's a beautiful home in Shorewood. It's not big or flashy, but it is just gorgeous. And I'm so proud of the windows that we helped the owner choose for this home. As they sat in our warehouse before the install, I kept walking by and looking at them, saying to myself, we really chose the perfect windows. And I couldn't wait to see the results, which even exceeded my expectations. The windows we chose were from the Marvin Signature Collection, which offers their broadest range of product types, sizes, configurations, and design options. When we choose them for your home, you'll experience the difference in every thoughtful detail with the highest level of architectural precision and beautiful aesthetics. Marvin windows are built around you. This is David Wilhelm. If you want to see Marvin's entire product line, come to Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. After all, we are your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
NBA fans, listen up. You've got to try Pick Six, the newest real money fantasy app from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. All you need to do is download the app, get started with code WISN, and playing the game is simple. Select if a player will have more or less of a stat. For example, will he have more than 1 rebound, more than 10 points, more than 3 assists? All you need to do is pick your favorite players, set your lineup, and then compete for huge cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WISN. New customers can get up to $200 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on Pick 6 from DraftKings with code WISN. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $200 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits, valid for Pick 6 use only, expire after 180 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6 states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
For NARI, award-winning home remodeling.
It's brand new, Season 2. I'm Marissa Thalberg.
And I'm Stephen Wolf Pereira, and we're excited to be back having bigger, bolder, and always real conversations.
Straight from the C-suite front lines of marketing, media, and more.
We have great friends joining from people you may know, like Wilmer Valderrama and Bobby Burke.
And people you'll want to know. So grab a coffee or, hey, even an Aperol Spritz and come join us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Open your free iHeart app today and search brand new.
Conservative thought, not just talk. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, officially endorsed by one Donald J. Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
President Trump, of course, is in Waukesha this afternoon. He is scheduled to speak at 2 o'clock. I am told that speeches are set to begin at about 12:30 this afternoon. I'm going to be heading up myself. Very proud, great great friend of the show, Joe Krupa, is going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. He is a veteran. He is a veteran also of the Dan O'Donnell Show Alaska cruise. He's been on actually pretty much every trip we've done. He and his wife, Patty, have been with us in Ireland. They went to New York, Boston. Just a wonderful guy. So if you see him, say thanks for your service, say hi, and it is going to be a lot of fun. I am so proud he's going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and I guarantee you he is going to be doing a great job. The line is already starting to get long, so I would encourage you, if you're planning on going, get there as soon as possible. I'm probably just going to run home. I was hoping to sneak in a quick workout after the show, and that probably isn't going to happen. I'm just going to get changed and head right on up there. Looking forward to seeing the president and having a whole lot of fun. In Milwaukee, UWM's pro-Hamas protest encampment is still up. In fact, Jessica McBride, about an hour ago, headed on down to see if she was able to get into the protest camp, and at least initially, she was not. Do you know why? There's a wall. They have put up a wall of particle board and what appears to be tables, and they are securing their border. They have secured the border to the encampment. Jessica sent me a picture of a protest leader who looks exactly how you would expect she would look. She is eating a sandwich, naturally, and she is guarding the gate, along with a couple of dudes, one beefy guy with a keffiyeh, of course, and another young lady. They're sitting there, and they will not allow anyone in unless they know exactly who you are, exactly whether or not you believe in a liberated Palestine. In other words, they want border security for their protest camps, but not for the United States of America. They want a wall for their protest camps to keep undesirable people out, but not for the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you modern American leftists. They don't know what they believe, but doggone it, they believe it. Border security for me, but not for thee. No word on whether UWM police or the Milwaukee Police Department is going to break up this encampment. Do we start asking Chief Norman, Mr. Norman, tear down this wall? Mr. Johnson, Cavalier Johnson, tear down this wall. Chairman Moan, tear down this wall. Every other college, it seems, except UWM, has been taking down their protest camps, although we do believe that the tents are now back up on Library Mall at UW-Madison. So when does Milwaukee start enforcing the law? When does it start enforcing state administrative code, which explicitly prohibits camping on college campuses? Suffice it to say, I'm not holding my breath, but after UW-Madison followed the lead of Columbia and a number of other universities in cracking down and making arrests, maybe UWM will follow Madison's lead. Do you think there's any chance of that? No, I don't either. I think UWM is perfectly content to just let these things peter out on their own. And frankly, I don't know how I think about this, because I personally love campus liberals reaping what they sow, indoctrinating these little Frankenstein's monsters so heavily that they think that they, campus administration and their professors, are the enemy. Yes, kids, destroy every liberal institution you can find. Colleges, the media, nonprofits, they are all standing in the way of a free Palestine. From the Milwaukee River to the Lake Michigan Sea, Palestine will only be free if you stand in solidarity. Build your wall even higher. Make UWM pay for it. And don't give up. Don't give in. I personally love watching the left eat its own. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be back right after this with more conservative thought and not just talk.
Well, I know I wouldn't want all my belongings and treasures being moved to my new home in a dirty old freight truck. And that's why we make sure when we move your things for you, our trucks are clean. In fact, we clean and disinfect all of our trucks daily. I'll tell you, when you choose us, you'll be impressed. This is Rick Vanderboom. Call Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage and we'll improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide. Even the fire inspectors, when they come through here, they say, boy, we'd love to see more storage warehouses like this because yours is always spotless. Vaulted, containerized storage. Everything is individually pad wrapped and inventoried. Whether it's a broomstick or a piano, it's all stickered and accounted for with a condition report, so it goes out the same way it came in. This is Rick Vanderboom. Call Blue Mountain Express for superior storage.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Kessler's has diamond pendants for Mother's Day.
Diamond pendants for only $70.
Mother's Day celebrates motherhood.
And it's always appropriate to give a Mother's Day gift to a mom.
Diamond pendants for only $70.
Your mother is a mother.
Your wife may be a mother.
Your girlfriend may be a mother.
Your sister may be a mother.
Your grandmother's certainly a mother.
You might even have a coworker who is a mother.
Motherhood needs to be celebrated.
Always.
You heard the part about the $70, right?
Giving a diamond pendant to a mom who wasn't expecting it is one of the greatest joys you'll ever experience.
The surprise on their face when you say Happy Mother's Day is worth 10 times the price you paid.
They'll remember that gift forever.
And you will too.
Welcome to Kessler's, where you can buy a diamond Mother's Day pendant for just $70.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for CertaPro Painters, which provides excellent workmanship quality and a worry-free process for both residential and commercial spaces, all at the right price. You can trust them to get the job done right and safely. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
So if you're already in a relationship with an auto service center, that's great. We hope things keep firing on all cylinders.
But if you're not in a relationship, why not book your next date with us at Richlands the next time you're due for service?
All of our locations are AAA approved and staffed by ASC certified technicians with PhDs in
We can fix anything! Put that on top of the friendliest, hardest working staff you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center.
And you've got yourself a rock solid date.
The next time you're due for factory scheduled maintenance
or tires, brakes, and suspension service,
book your date at richlands.com.
Or just Google us. But remember, Richlands is spelled with 2 N's.
And oh yeah, be safe, buckle up, and hey,
always make sure you have good tread on your tires. I'm Courtney Matchkey with Richlands, and you're due for a date.
Clever.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey, if you want a firearm that is easy to transport, you got to check out the U.S. Survival Rifle from our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, it is a portable rifle that you can put together, take apart in just minutes. And then when you're not using it, you can store the parts in the little case that it comes in. It's so small you can store it pretty much anywhere, and it's light enough to carry everywhere. Now, it comes in black and 2 different camo patterns, and you can pick one up for $300 to $400 depending on the finish. Check out their videos. Go to their website. It's one word, henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order their free catalog. Now, Henry makes more than 200 rifles and shotguns and revolvers, all made in America, all backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee and the best customer service in the business. Go to their website, henryusa.com. Get their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog decals for the Henry U.S. Survival Rifle.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Opinion, emotion,
passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Smart speakers put WISN's programs as close as the sound of your voice. Tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio and listen to Milwaukee's best talk shows.
A tour de force of truth. The sort of truth that the rest of the media ignores, if not outright buries. Republican Senator John Kennedy speaking right now. It's a press conference. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee about the ongoing campus protests. Let's take a listen.
That like a ninja. But Joe Biden hadn't done that. And President Biden is not going to do that. And it's not just because even older people can suck. He's not going to do that because of the raw gut politics, and you know it, and I know it. President Biden is scared to death to alienate the Hamas wing of the Democratic Party. And he has read that new CNN poll, just came out, that said that 52% of likely voters, a CNN poll, said 52%.
All right, I'm going to step in because he has put out.
All right, that is Fox News' coverage of John Kennedy, as well as the Senate Judiciary Committee, speaking out about President Biden's just steadfast refusal, and I mean refusal, to say anything. It's not as though he's condemning the protests. It's not as though he's voicing support for the protests. They've just hidden him. Is he still at the beach house in Delaware? It's actually kind of remarkable that, well, not surprising, but that the press has not demanded that we hear from the President of the United States. This is the biggest story in America right now. There is civil unrest going on across the country on college campuses that includes massive anti-Semitism. I mean, you had Hail Hitler being screamed at the UW-Madison protest. How exactly is this according to the Wisconsin Law Journal, reporting a couple of days ago that this was the sort of rhetoric that's just kind of being accepted in these protests? The president's not saying a thing about it. Why not? This is clear anti-Semitism. You've got a University of Washington student, a Jewish student, saying that she heard on her campus someone screaming at her, "Go back to the oven." I don't think it gets more anti-Semitic than that. Kennedy's right. It's because President Biden is just terrified of losing the young vote. He's already on shaky ground. Far more young voters, I think, than in either 2016 or 2020 are supporting Donald Trump. And it's not as though that these young, radical left-wing pro-Hamas protesters are suddenly going to vote for Trump. It's that they're either going to vote for Jill Stein or Bobby Kennedy or Cornel West or some other third-party fringe candidate, or they're just going to stay home. That they're just going to abandon Biden, knowing full well that that might hand the election to Trump. And he's terrified of this, especially in the state of Michigan, which started the vote uncommitted movement ahead of the Michigan presidential primary to send a message to Biden. Now, I'm not so naive as to believe that a majority of these people are going to stay home. The left is going to whip them up into a frenzy about how terrifying and Hitler-like Donald Trump is. But as of right now, they have abandoned Biden, along with Hispanic voters, a good percentage of black voters. His support has collapsed, and as a result, and I think his handlers know that he can't speak extemporaneously about this, so the last thing they want is to have him get a question from a reporter as he's walking to Marine One. So feeble is he now that we reported on this. Axios broke this story a couple of weeks ago that the president is no longer allowed to walk by himself to Marine One, to the helicopter on the White House lawn, because people were starting to notice how enfeebled he looked. So now they're having a whole bunch of aides walk around him so the media can't get a good camera shot of him doing the senile shuffle, as I'm calling it. I think it's safe to say that we don't really have a president right now, not in the traditional sense as you and I understand that the executive power in this country is vested in one person. We've got a whole bunch of 30 and 40-something liberals, radical liberals at that, who are basically propping this guy up as a figurehead, and I think the American people are getting wise to this. In a more sane era, the President of the United States would give a nationally televised address and condemn all the anti-Semitism that's going on campus, especially in an election year. It's what's known as a Sister Soldier moment. You can make yourself seem less extreme by condemning the extremism in your own party. He won't do that because his party is no longer mainstream here and extreme fringe way over on the left. His party is the extreme fringe left. It's become mainstream, and he knows it. All of his handlers know it, and I think the American people know it. Make no mistake, he is in some big trouble, and I think his handlers understand that. Dan O'Donnell Show done for the day. I'm heading out to Waukesha to go say hi to President Trump. Hope to see you there.